Do you feel betrayed when people walk away from your life? Do you ask yourself, why can't anyone be truly loyal? Today I'll reveal a brutal truth. No one is your real friend, and the sooner you accept this, the stronger you become. Let's break the chains of false expectations and understand the real nature of loyalty. Niccolo Machiavelli once said, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, liars, and deceivers." Myles Munroe echoed the same truth in modern times. People don't love you for who you are, they love you for what you bring to their table. When your benefits expire, their loyalty disappears. So stop crying over lost friendships. Stop expecting loyalty from those who are only passing through your life. True strength comes when you detach, when you understand that every connection is seasonal and no one owes you eternal loyalty. If you want loyalty, build power, build value, because people bow to necessity, not sentiment. Remember, friendship is not guaranteed, loyalty is not promised, and love is not permanent. What you must build is strength, because in this world it's not about who loves you, it's about who needs you. Accept this and you will never be betrayed again. Friendship is one of the most misunderstood words in human history. We like to imagine friendship as this pure bond, untouched by selfishness, a relationship where someone stands with us unconditionally. But let's confront a harsh reality. Friendship in its rawest form is transactional. And if you don't accept this truth, you will live in constant disappointment, wondering why people betray you, why they walk away when you need them most, why the ones you called brothers and sisters suddenly turn into strangers. The nature of man, as Niccolo Machiavelli observed, is driven by self-interest. People are not loyal to you, they are loyal to the benefits you provide. This is not cynicism, it is reality. Think about it. The so-called best friend who always listened to you during your hardest times, were they truly in love with your pain? No. They were in love with the role they played in your life, the healer, the advisor, the one you depended on. That role made them feel important. The moment you stop giving them that feeling, their loyalty fades. Myles Munroe often reminded us that people enter your life for a reason, a season or a lifetime. But here is the truth that stings. Most people are in your life for a reason, and that reason usually serves them more than it serves you. Even those who seem to care deeply are unconsciously feeding a personal need. It may be the need for validation, the need for companionship, the need for security, or even the need for financial or social advantage. Strip away the benefit and suddenly their devotion disappears. Look at history. Kings, emperors, rulers, men who held unimaginable power still fell because the friends they trusted turned against them. Julius Caesar believed in Brutus, a man he considered a friend, almost like a son. Yet Brutus plunged the dagger because his loyalty was not to Caesar but to his own survival, his own position, his own gain. If betrayal happens at the highest levels of power, do you really think your ordinary friendships are immune? The truth is, everyone wears a mask. A friend's laughter at your jokes is not always about love for you, it's about how they feel being around you. If you elevate their mood, they stay. If you drain them, they vanish. Friendship survives as long as the exchange of value continues. Remove the exchange, and the friendship withers away. And don't confuse shared history with loyalty. Just because you grew up together doesn't mean someone will stand with you in the storm. History creates memories, but survival creates choices. When people are forced to choose between their survival and your bond, survival always wins. That is the law of human nature. This doesn't mean everyone around you is malicious or calculating with every move. No, many don't even realize their loyalty is conditional, it's subconscious. They act in their own interest because that's how humans are wired. The problem is not them, the problem is your expectation. You expect eternal loyalty from people whose loyalty is tied to what you can provide. You expect permanence in a world where everything is temporary. Think about your own life. When you call someone your friend, why do you call them that? Is it because they always give you something: time, advice, laughter, money, support? Yes, you benefit, and they benefit from you. That's why you are friends. It is an exchange. If tomorrow that exchange ends, if tomorrow you stop being useful to them or they stop being useful to you, the so-called friendship quietly dissolves. Machiavelli advised rulers never to rely on affection but on necessity. Why? Because affection fades but necessity endures. If people need you, they will cling to you. If they no longer need you, they will abandon you. Translate this into your personal life. Your friends are close not because of who you are, but because of what they get by being close to you. This could be material, emotional, or social, but make no mistake, it is a transaction. Many will resist this truth because it hurts. It challenges the fantasy we grew up with, the fantasy of forever friends, of bonds stronger than steel. But reality doesn't bend to fantasy. The sooner you recognize that relationships are built on exchanges, the stronger you become. You stop seeing betrayal as a tragedy and start seeing it as a transaction that has reached its end. Friendship is beautiful, yes, but it is beautiful because it is fleeting. It is meaningful while the exchange lasts. When it ends, don't cry over loyalty that never existed. See it for what it is, a transaction, one that has run its course. This perspective doesn't make you cold, it makes you wise. It removes the chains of false expectations. It frees you from the illusion that anyone, other than yourself, owes you undying loyalty. Loyalty is one of the most overrated expectations human beings carry. We are raised on stories of lifelong friends, unbreakable bonds, and people who will stand by us no matter what. But when the storms of life hit, when the tests of pressure come, you begin to see the truth. Loyalty is rare, far rarer than you imagine. Most people will not sacrifice for you. Most people will not endure pain for you. Most people will not choose you when choosing you costs them something valuable. Think about it carefully. Loyalty sounds beautiful in words, but it is ugly in practice. To be loyal means to remain committed to someone even when it no longer benefits you. To be loyal means to choose another's well-being above your own gain. And ask yourself, how many people in this world are truly willing to put their interests second? Very few. Because the nature of man, as Machiavelli explained, is rooted in self-preservation. Human beings are programmed to protect their advantage, their security, their survival. When loyalty demands a sacrifice, most people will quietly betray it. Even in religion, even in philosophy, the stories of loyalty are rare because they stand out against the backdrop of common betrayal. Look at history. Alexander the Great, who conquered half the known world, trusted generals who swore eternal loyalty to him. Yet after his death, they carved up his empire, each man pursuing his own throne. Their loyalty ended when their master's power could no longer reward or punish them. Think of Napoleon, betrayed by ministers who once praised him as a genius. Think of every fallen ruler who thought loyalty was permanent, only to discover that loyalty is fragile, a thin thread that breaks the moment self-interest pulls against it. Now bring it back to your own life. How many people have sworn to always be there for you, only to vanish when your value to them declined? A friend who promised to never leave suddenly stops calling when your money runs out. A colleague who once admired your leadership quietly turns against you when following you threatens their career. Even family, in many cases, shows conditional loyalty because blood is not stronger than self-preservation. You don't need to hate them for it, but you must understand this is human nature. Myles Munroe said, "The greatest pain in life is not death, but being betrayed by those you trusted." Why does betrayal cut so deep? Because it reveals the illusion we clung to, that loyalty is normal, that loyalty is to be expected. But if you shift your perspective and accept that loyalty is rare, you are no longer surprised when it breaks. You are no longer shattered when someone chooses themselves over you, because you anticipated it from the beginning. Think of loyalty as a diamond. How many people own a real diamond compared to how many wear glass? The glass looks like loyalty at first, it shines, it appears strong, but the moment pressure is applied, it shatters. Real loyalty, the kind that endures even when it costs something, is rare, just like the diamond. Most of what you call loyalty in your life is glass, temporary, fragile, conditional. Machiavelli himself warned rulers never to build power on loyalty alone. He argued it is far safer to be feared than loved because fear is within your control, while loyalty depends on another person's conscience, which can change with time and circumstance. Translate that into your daily life. Stop building your trust on the assumption that people will be loyal to you simply because you are good to them. Goodness does not guarantee loyalty. Kindness does not guarantee loyalty. Even love does not guarantee loyalty. People will still choose themselves no matter how much you have given them. Ask yourself this: how many times have you been loyal to people who were not loyal to you? You gave them your time, your energy, your devotion, and when their moment came to stand for you, they chose silence, they chose absence, they chose betrayal. This is because loyalty in its truest sense is not natural, it is extraordinary. And extraordinary things are rare. When you understand this, you stop giving everyone blind access to your heart. You stop handing out trust as if it is cheap. You begin to observe, to test, to measure who truly stands when there is nothing to gain. Because loyalty only reveals itself in the dark. In light, everyone looks loyal. In prosperity, everyone looks faithful. But when the lights go out, when resources dry up, when you are no longer useful, only then do you see who remains. That moment strips away illusions and exposes reality. The bitter truth is that most of those you think of as loyal will not pass this test, and that is why loyalty is rare. It is not because people are evil, it is because people are human. Humans will always choose what benefits them, and unless your survival is tied to theirs, unless your destiny is locked with theirs, their loyalty will always have a breaking point. The sooner you accept this, the less power betrayal has over you, and the clearer you see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. Attachment is one of the most subtle but deadly traps in human relationships. We like to call it loyalty, love, or friendship, but at its core, attachment is a chain that binds your strength to someone else's presence. And the moment your happiness depends on another person's behavior, you have surrendered your power. Attachment does not make you strong, it makes you vulnerable. It gives someone else the ability to control your emotions, your peace, and even your destiny. Think carefully. When you are attached, you stop seeing reality. You stop judging people for who they are, and instead you cling to who you want them to be. You excuse betrayal, you overlook red flags, you blind yourself to truth because your heart is desperate to hold on, and what happens? You suffer. The pain of betrayal is magnified not because someone left you, but because you were too attached to the illusion that they would never leave. Machiavelli warned leaders against emotional weakness. He observed that the downfall of many rulers was not their enemies but their attachments. They trusted too much, loved too deeply, or became dependent on those around them. And when those attachments turned against them, they fell, not because they lacked power, but because they gave others power over their heart. Translate that into your own life. How many times have you been destroyed, not by strangers, but by the people you were most attached to? Myles Munroe often said, "People are only in your life for a season," but attachment resists that truth. Attachment whispers lies. This person will never leave. This bond will never break. This love will last forever. And when reality strikes, the devastation is unbearable. That is why attachment is dangerous. It multiplies the damage of betrayal. If you had no attachment, you would see the exit of people as natural, as part of life. But attachment tricks you into expecting permanence in a temporary world. Look at the greatest empires in history. How many fell because of attachments? Kings who trusted their advisors like family, only to be assassinated. Generals who grew attached to allies, only to be betrayed on the battlefield. Attachment clouds judgment. It makes you blind to ambition, blind to deceit, blind to human nature, because you don't see the person as they are. You see them as your anchor, your lifeline, your safe place. And when they cut the rope, you drown because you never learned to swim alone. Attachment also breeds weakness because it makes you dependent on validation. You begin to measure your worth by how someone else treats you. If they approve, you feel valuable. If they withdraw, you feel worthless. But this dependence is slavery. It means your identity is controlled by external hands. The Machiavellian mind refuses this slavery. The Machiavellian mind says never attach yourself so deeply that your survival depends on another's loyalty. And let's be honest, most of the pain in your life has not come from enemies. Enemies cannot hurt you the way loved ones do. Why? Because you are not attached to enemies. If an enemy insults you, you shrug it off. But if a friend insults you, it cuts deep. If a stranger leaves, you forget them in a day. But if a friend leaves, you cry for months. The difference is not in their action, it is in your attachment. Your suffering comes from the chains you built with your own hands. This is why detachment is power. Detachment doesn't mean you isolate yourself or live without relationships. It means you engage with people fully, but without clinging. It means you appreciate their presence, but you do not collapse when they leave. It means you give love, but you do not worship it. It means you value loyalty, but you do not expect it as eternal. Detachment protects you from devastation because you accept from the beginning that everything is temporary. The most dangerous illusion is to believe that someone else is your source of happiness. Happiness, when outsourced, becomes fragile. The day that person changes, withdraws, or betrays you, your entire life crumbles. But when you master detachment, your happiness becomes internal, untouchable. People may come and go, but your stability remains. This is what true strength looks like, independence of the soul. Machiavelli taught rulers to never place their security in the hands of others, because dependency is the doorway to manipulation. The same principle applies in life. If you are attached, people can control you. They know your weakness. They know you fear losing them, so they exploit that fear. But when you are detached, no one can control you. They may threaten to leave, and you will let them. They may withhold affection, and you will remain unmoved. This is not cruelty, it is freedom. Attachment makes you cling to people who no longer deserve your presence. It makes you tolerate disrespect because you are afraid of being alone. But solitude with strength is better than company with chains. The moment you learn to walk without needing anyone to hold your hand, you are unshakable. The moment you can love without attachment, you experience peace. The moment you stop expecting permanence from temporary beings, you stop suffering over departures. Human beings are not drawn to love as much as they are drawn to power. Love is a fragile emotion. It comes and goes with moods, with circumstances, with convenience. But power commands attention. Power demands respect. Power creates necessity. If you want loyalty, do not waste your energy begging to be loved. Build power, because it is power that binds people to you. Think carefully. A man may love you today and betray you tomorrow if betrayal serves him better. But that same man will hesitate to betray you if you hold power that can destroy him or elevate him. Love can blind people for a moment, but power keeps them awake at night. Love creates sentiment, but power creates survival. And survival always outweighs sentiment. That is why Machiavelli famously argued that it is better for a ruler to be feared than to be loved. not because fear is more noble, but because fear is more reliable. Look at the great figures of history. Kings, emperors, leaders, most of them were not loved, but they were obeyed. Alexander the Great inspired loyalty not because he was loved as a man, but because he carried power as a conqueror. Napoleon held France not because his generals adored him, but because they needed his victories to secure their positions. Even in modern times, people do not follow leaders out of pure affection. They follow because those leaders hold influence, resources, and authority that they cannot afford to lose. Now compare this to your own life. How many times have you begged for someone's loyalty through kindness, through sacrifice, through love? And how many times did they still walk away when something better came along? Why? Because kindness without power is weakness in the eyes of human nature. Love without influence is fragile. People may appreciate your good heart, but appreciation does not guarantee loyalty. What secures loyalty is necessity. When you have something they need, whether it is knowledge, protection, opportunity, or strength, they are bound to you not because they love you, but because they cannot risk losing what you give. Myles Munroe once said that true leadership is not about position, but about influence. Influence is a form of power. When your presence makes a difference in someone's life, they stay close, not because of affection, but because your absence would cost them something. This is the true currency of loyalty. Without power, you can only beg for loyalty. With power, loyalty becomes automatic. But let's strip the illusion further. Even when people appear loyal to you, ask yourself, are they loyal to you or to what you represent? In most cases, they are loyal to the power you hold. A soldier does not die for the king himself. He dies for the king's authority, the system, the structure, the cause that secures his future. A friend who defends you in public is often defending the status you provide him, the association with your strength, the benefits of standing by your side. Remove the power and watch how quickly their so-called loyalty disappears. This is why people who chase love often end up broken, while those who build power remain surrounded. Love may fill your heart, but power fills your circle, and circles matter, because no man stands alone. If you want allies who endure, build value they cannot ignore. If you want loyalty, stop waiting for affection, and start creating necessity. Look at your own relationships. The friends who never leave you are not necessarily the ones who love you most. They are the ones who need you most. The colleagues who respect you are not always moved by affection. They are influenced by the authority or skill you carry. The world does not operate on love, it operates on leverage. And leverage comes from power. Machiavelli made it clear that men are fickle. They will promise loyalty with their words, but when the winds shift, they follow advantage. The only way to secure their loyalty is to make betrayal cost them more than loyalty does. That equation is built on power. If loyalty benefits them, they will stay. If betrayal rewards them, they will leave. Power is the only force that tilts this scale in your favor. Even in personal life, even in love, the same rule applies. Many relationships that last do not survive because of eternal affection. They survive because of shared power, financial power, emotional support, or social strength. Remove that balance of power and the bond collapses. Love cannot hold what necessity has abandoned. So stop expecting people to stay because they love you. Stop expecting loyalty because you have given your heart. Recognize that in every interaction, in every relationship, loyalty is a reflection of power. If you want people to remain, give them a reason that benefits them to remain. If you want them to respect you, carry something that makes respect unavoidable. Power protects you from the fragility of love. Power transforms loyalty from a choice into a necessity, and this is the secret that most people never accept. Love may inspire words, but power enforces action. People will sing your praises when they love you, but they will obey, protect, and defend you when they need you. Loyalty flows not from the softness of the heart, but from the hardness of reality. If you want to secure it, do not chase affection, build power. You have now seen the truth behind human nature. Friendship is transactional because people are drawn to what they gain, not who you are. Loyalty is rare because survival outweighs sentiment every single time. Attachment is dangerous because it hands others the keys to your peace and chains your strength to their presence. And ultimately, it is not love that secures loyalty, it is power. Power makes your presence necessary, and necessity binds people tighter than affection ever could. So stop expecting from people what they were never designed to give you. Stop weeping over the illusions of forever friends, eternal loyalty, or unbreakable bonds. This world does not operate on fantasies. It operates on self-interest, survival, and power. Accepting this truth will not make you bitter. It will make you wise. It will strip away disappointment. It will protect your heart from unnecessary pain, and it will free you to build strength that no betrayal can destroy. In the end, the greatest mistake is not that people betray you. The greatest mistake is believing they wouldn't. Open your eyes. Live with wisdom, not illusion. Value loyalty when it comes, but never expect it as a right. Love deeply if you choose, but never at the cost of your strength. And above all, build power, because in this world, power secures what love promises but cannot guarantee.